That's some of my experiences, and my other experiences is you don't work cattle like a white man. You want to work them like a Mexican or a wetback. You just yell and whip and get you holler and squall and scream and raise hell and bounce them off of fences and spill them and break their necks. If you want to work them like a white man, you just bunch them up and hold them and keep your mouth shut and be quiet. And if your horse gets to squilling, take him off over the hill and kill him and get another and then come back. You want to be quiet.
That's right.
And you just bunch them up and hold them and work them and let them get settled down and docile. And all you do is just hold them and work around through them, and them cattle's going to work themselves. You don't have to work.
That's exactly right.
She's smart enough to work herself if you'll let her.
That's right.
And you get these flatlander cowboys we got around here, and you just will spin your wheels to get a cake wagon. They'll chase a cake wagon and do better than them. You get some of these old boys that raised up in that hill country, and I'll tell you what, you put them a horseback and give them a good black snake, and they'll put a cow through an auto.
Do you know Bob?
They'll put a cow about where you want to put her.
You know Bob Spiller from the LX.
They don't ring. I don't.
He's one got drugged up yonder at the LX here. Must have been 8 or 10 years ago, I guess, and broke his pelvis. He's tied on.
Oh shit! Yeah,
you know,
I remember. Okay, I remember now. Yeah.
And got and then it took them 437 yards for to get up there close enough to cut the rope. They'd been getting the bulls out, and they had 2 bulls in a pen, there, and they got to fighting and knocked one of them out, and they just let him settle, and there's 4 of them, and I can't think of the boy that you know him in it. It's run that LX for years up there. I mean, you know him. If I could call his name, you'd know him right off the bat. But anyway.
Dave?
Who?
Dave?
Dave, yeah.
Anderson.
Dave Anderson.
Yeah.
But Dave, there's 4 of them, and they went and gathered that bull and threw him against the fence, and the gate was open, and they just eased him down the fence, and really not even a fast walk, just kind of letting him, travel. And he got to that gate and decided he's going to fight, and turned around and come to them horses, and old Bob just roped him when he come by. And some which way or another, I don't know how it happened, but the horse kind of faltered. He turned the horse with the bull after he got him roped, but
got him off balance.
And when he went down, there was enough slack in the rope that it caught his foot. And just one of them freak things that happen,
Well,
But he's out there at Cade Matthews now.
I watch these horse shows, and I watch them spin these horses, spin them, and that's the show horses. It's pretty. And I'd catch my boys spinning the horse, I'd jerk them off, and I'd say, listen, you turn him, back him up a step and turn him back.
Right.
Back him up a step and turn him.
Right.
Don't you take him in a circle, I'll kick your ass. Well, why, Daddy? Why? I says, because you're going to be roping off of him. It's the main reason.
Exactly right.
And if you ain't never going to rope off of him, and you ain't even going to carry a rope, that's fine. But I said, it'll get you in trouble. And they didn't know what I was talking about. And Jim Jones down there on that LE, he was famous about spinning this little old horse. Well, this horse was in Lee Daniels' string, and Lee Daniels drowned. He got out in the middle of a pond there with all of his clothes on. I was riding a bronc, and I couldn't get him out. I got him almost out, but I didn't get him plumb out. And I barely got out to the edge of the water when Clayton Moore found me and got me on out. He's drowned. But anyways, that was on that LE ranch. But anyways, he was foreman there, and then this Jim Jones taking his place. He was a flatlander from Oklahoma, and he didn't know nothing about cattle. But anyway, he's always spinning that horse, and I'd frown at him and didn't say nothing. I just kind of frowned at him. he said, you ought to teach them sons of guns how to handle, you know, and he'd spin them and spin them. And I didn't say nothing. We gathered them little heifers when we started on them cows I was talking about. We kept them heifers, them 350 head. When we come out of there, well, we left 3 of them little yearling bulls in there. So me and Fred Kennedy or Durham McPherson, I believe it's Fred Kennedy. Me and Fred Kennedy and Jones, Jim Jones, went over there to. They finally got us a pickup horse trailer. That's the first one that ranch had ever seen. And we took that horse trailer and pickup over there.
You remember?
Do what?
What year?
63. But that's the first pickup and trailer we'd ever had.
So, I mean, y'all were doing it all horseback
Oh,
up
yeah.
to then?
And so we just go gather them 3 bulls. So we went over there, or I drifted through there and told him there's watering over at that such and such well. So we went over there after about time they'd be heading to water, and we found them. So Fred built the one, Kennedy built the one, and he went off this way, and them 2 was together. And Jones built this one, and he caught him, and I was going to go on by him and get that other one. And he caught him, and of course he tied onto the saddle horn all the time. And he's riding this little chunky horse that he'd been spinning all the time. And he about got that bull about half set up, and I was going on by him, and there was a piece of tin or something in the soap weed there. And that little horse shied off like that. And old Jim's foot went up in his shoulder, and that bull, he'd come off the rope and had just, wasn't real tight, just a little slack in it. And that horse put about 2 wraps around that's the dick quicker than you can snap your damn fingers. And the time I got set up and got back to him and got my knife, well, he was already blue and half out of the saddle, and just squeezed plumb to death. That bull hit the end of that rope. God Almighty, he couldn't have been that big around.
Yeah.
And I got that rope cut, and he fell off on the ground, and his horse come back around to me, and got him set up all right, and finally got him to breathing all right. And Fred Kennedy come back over the hill, and we finally got him, carried him back over there, set him in the pickup, and then me and him went and roped them other 2, and we worked pairs. We just head and held them and shackled them and went the other and and then we took the trailer and went and got them, and then took Jim home. And Jim didn't come out of the house for about a week. And finally he come out of the house, and about a week later, and he got this little chunky horse out and saddled him and finally got on him. And I said, spin that son of a gun, Jim. Show him something. Spin that son of a bitch. He never said another word, but I never seen him spin another horse.
That's right.
He learned his a lesson. But Alexa got him killed.
And all that's fine for this outfit over here at that arena. That ranch horse, they want a horse that's mane about that long, and they want his tail. That's exactly right.
Get your spur hung in his tail, and he'll drag you and kick you. He'll kill you right quick.
That's right.
You want that tail up where it don't catch no.
That's right. And they don't. And if they ain't got enough tail on them, Dusty, they'll put a dang false tail on them, and then they want to slide them.
There's so many people, they don't know nothing about horses. Or John Rice was weaning colts, and he had them in the crowd. He had the prettiest little old sorrel horse, an apple ass. I mean, just built like a Hercules. I mean, just, oh my gosh. I'd give $1 million for that colt. The best one in the whole bunch. And I come out there and says, well, I'm sure proud of something. I got to show you what I done. He says, I fished me some latches. And he had got some little old chains about that long and got some welded horseshoe to it, see? And tied it to the fence. And he said, looky here. And he had belling wire there. We'd been open them gates and tie them open. Well, he said, I just opened. And he hooked that over there. And he had them things hanging on every gate. And I said, oh, Jim. I said, I don't believe I would do that.
That's Rick.
I don't believe. He said, well, I think it's a pretty neat deal. I said, God, I don't believe I'd have done that. And that's all I said. I just told him I wouldn't do that. I'd take them damn things off of there. 2 or 3 days later, he come over cussing me. I says, what's the matter with you? He says, I asked you why you wouldn't do that. And I says, well, you'll kill a colt, that's why.
Yeah.
He said, you didn't tell me why. I said, what happened? Did you kill a colt? He said, that best son of a gun got that hooked in his jaw.
No,
Sat
Henry.
back and it broke his jaw and had to shoot him. I said, well, you proud of the rest of them? He said, damn you, and he turned around and he blamed me for it because I didn't tell him different. He was 10 or 15 years older than me. But that's the way people are around livestock, and that's the way they are around horses.
That's right.
They don't know them, and they don't
That's right.
understand them.
That's right.
And they're always doing something that'll later get them killed.
You know, I've said this
And-
to you before, Henry, and I said the same dang thing to Johnny this morning. And I know you ain't able to do a lot, you know, this and that, but and maybe this video will help somebody down the road, Henry, but if they don't understand them, and I guess what I'm getting around to, and I've asked you this question before, is would you consider teaching somewhere? I mean, if you didn't...
I could tell them what not to do to stay out of trouble.
What did Johnny say this morning? Lots of times it's knowing not what to do more than what to do.
I see so many things that's dangerous. I see a lot of people, and it really ticks me off. They'll have a saddle rope tied on their saddle. And it generally looks fairly nice. You know, you don't have to carry one in a gunny sack. But anyway, they'll have a big old...
They don't know what a gunny sack is.
They'll have
no
a big
more,
old 3/4 or 1/8 strap with a buckle on it. They'll have that around the swells of their saddle.
Yeah, why would...
And they'd have it rack over and have it in a big old buckle.
Yeah, and then they got it screwed down.
And then if a horse falls with you, you're going to stick your foot through the cords of that rope.
Yes,
I mean,
buddy.
that's almost, it happens over half the time.
Oh, yeah.
And when that horse gets up, there you are.
Hung.
You're hung.
And
he's going to
drugged.
kick you and drag you to death.
That's exactly right.
And I see so much of that, and people make and sell that stuff to kill people.
Yeah.
That's what it's for, to
Yeah,
kill somebody.
yeah, that's right.
You ought to
You know-
tie that rope on there with a little old light strap that you can jerk and bust with one hand.
That's right. Just
you want
a
it to-
rope string. Just I want it over my saddle horn.
Where it'll break.
That's exactly right. You know, and, then
And you don't never want to leave that knot on your saddle horn. And if you can't handle a rope, don't tie it on the saddle horn.
that's right, Daddy.
Lose your rope.
Yeah,
Hell,
yeah,
if you have
pitch
to
it.
get another rope.
Pitch
rope
it.
if
That's
you
what
have
I
to.
told. I told
Don't tie
Madison.
on if you can't handle that horse.
I've told
or you
Madison
can't
time
handle
and
that rope.
time
Do
and
not tie
time
on.
again, baby. If you get in a storm, pitch that rope.
And
You
these
catch
dang-
them later. You can go back and get another rope. You tie one on your saddle strings. Any damn thing. But
Another thing is these dang bulls. That's something else too. You're talking about them bulls like me and Leonard Sumter. We was moving. Bull got in with the heifers, one of neighbor's bulls, Doherty's bulls, and we had them. Our bulls was his registered bulls with these heifers. So
yeah,
I just went down there and brought that heifer back down the fence. And when they
now
got
let me just interrupt you right here. When he's talking about you know how to drive cape down the road, you know you got to kind of keep your horse to the outside for them that don't know. You keep them turned back toward that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But anyways, we got him coming down the fence, and that bull following. So Leonard got back in there behind the bull,
yeah,
or kind of behind and beside, following. And I knew that heifer wanted to go back to her bunch. She's wanting
That's
to come
right.
back.
That's right.
And we was going that way, and she's wanting to come back. So just before we got to the gate, well, I just let her come back, and
Peel
then
off.
I worked into that bull, put him through that gate. Just as he got at that gate, well, that son of a gun just dropped his head, just like snapping your fingers. And he come right back in under my horse.
Henry.
And he just missed my stirrup and run his horn through the flank strap, through my belly band,
Yeah,
and jerked that, and it ripped that thing out about that far. The tongue ripped that billet about that far.
Yeah.
And turned that horse upside down, right on top of me. Anyways, I got out from under him, and that bull worked around that horse, and then he left the horse alone. I horned the shit out of my horse, and then went on back to the bunch. And I finally got my little horse up, and he was all right. I told Leonard, well, I'm just going to kill that son of a gun. He said, no, just leave him alone. He said, I'm calling Bennett. It's their bull. Let them come and get him.
Yeah.
So they come over there. They had to shoot him with a tranquilizer and get him. But I was going to kill him. I wasn't going to. That's too dangerous.
Yeah,
have
it
a bull
is.
like
Yeah,
that.
it is. Going to come to you like that, and I mean,
Yeah.
you know, your belly band's got to be tight. I mean, it's got to be.
That little old bunch of cattle we had on the LEs, we had a bull in there, and we had, I think it was 13 head, and just one little bitty pasture there. They was registered, and we had this one bull in there. He had pretty good horns, supposed to be a high-powered bull. And the government said we had to brucellosis, bangs test them.
Yeah.
So we brought them all to
Fine.
Krell. When we got to the Krell with him, that bull was awful mean. I mean, man, he was
Especially
terrible.
in a
He
tight
had hit
place.
that fence and had them wire panels welded. He just ripped them things like these pickets. But anyways, we finally got blood from everything, and I took them back to pasture, or just opened the gates, and they more or less went back to pasture. You know, they'll go home. You
Yeah,
let them go home,
yeah.
they'll go back
Yeah,
home.
that's
So,
right.
anyways, come back and got the results, and they said we had to bring that bull back. He showed up as a suspect.
What you call them?
So
That's right.
they told me and Fred, says, you and Fred go over there and get that bull. He's a suspect. We got to get blood. So we went over there. And that old bull come through the bunch meeting us, shaking his head. I mean, he come meeting
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
I told Fred, I said, well, we can't handle him this way. So we just, that little old bunch is just 13 head. I said, I hate to do this, but I said, we're going to have to take the cattle with him. We can't.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna leave them cattle.
Yeah. Peel them back.
And so I went around the cattle and we started them. And he'd go around the cattle and snuff and turn them back. We'd throw them back around him and start off, and he'd snuff and turn them back, snuff and turn them back, snuff and turn them back. And we went along there for a couple of miles. We got about halfway to the house. And he got hot, and our horses got hot. And he got to where when he turned them cattle back, he wouldn't stop. He'd come back in after us, and he got hot. And finally, he got too close to my little old horse, and I was riding a little, I'd been out of the Krell with him 8 or 10 times. He's pretty green.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well,
much.
yeah.
But I'd been out 8 or 10 times
8 or
with him.
10 times.
And first thing you know, he dropped under him and got him before I could get him turned and moved. And he just kind of sold up instead of moving. When I leaned for him to move, well, he sold.
Hesitated.
That bull turned him right upside down. That bull, horning the hell out of him, and I was trying to keep that horse between me and the bull. And Fred rode up and run into that bull with his horse. And that bull turned and made a run under his horse and went to hooking his horse in the tail. His horse he'd done leaned, and his horse was leaving.
Yeah.
He went to hooking Kennedy's horse in the tail, and that bull throwed Kennedy off right there, right in front of that bull. But that bull had his head in that horse's tail, and that horse was bogging his head.
Yeah.
And the bull went on past Fred, still horning that horse. And I told Fred, I said, lay still, don't move, don't move. And I went on past the bull when he quit horning and got him after me and led him off from Fred so I could catch Fred's horse and bring his horse back to him and get him on and get him up out of there.
Yeah.
So that bull, he turned my horse over and damn near killed Fred. So anyways, we worked with that bull. Finally got him so hot that he laid down, and he never did get up. He died right there. And I told Fred, I said, I wish I'd had a 6-gun. I'd have shot him right between the eyes. I said, that'd have saved a bunch of this.
Yeah. Saving horses too. Was Fred hurt when he got pitched off?
When a bull gets, it didn't hurt him. No, it didn't hurt him or the horse.
Was thankful.
But anyways, when a bull gets that bad,
There ain't nothing you can do.
yeah, it is.
I mean-
You can go to the veterinaries and get a tranquilizer and shoot him.
Yeah.
Put him
Well,
in the
if you're hot
trailer and
like
take him
that,
to the
though.
packing house. That's
Yeah,
what you can do with
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Hot like that though, Henry. you
That's
know.
about all you can do with
Yeah,
him.
it is.
Or go get him ground up for hamburger.
That's right.
But I've got a lot of wrecks like that. Just being careless. I headed an old cow on top there. There's big old cedar trees going along the cap rock there, and right by the trail there was an old pinon tree there that was dead, limbs sticking out everywhere. And I pinched that old cow off and headed her and brought her back, and my horse turned. One of them dead limbs on that pinon tree stuck right through my stirrup, about that far,
Yeah.
and then broke off up there about 8 foot. And here they went. Of course, that come around and goosed my horse in the flank. Of course, he bogged his head and just twisted my leg till I just pissed all over myself. I just wring and wet.
It hung up,
And he
pinned in there. Your
and he
leg was
bucked
pinned
back,
in
and I
there.
couldn't get off. He come around and bucked back under that tree and run over that stick and busted it to where it didn't have but about that much up in front of it. And then I didn't have my shirt left. The shirt was plumb gone. I think I had a little bit of one sleeve left. And skin up all over, God Almighty. He's bucking under another dead tree. And I finally got him picked up and kept that stick out of him long enough to wiggle my foot out and get that stick out and get back on. And I got off to get my hat, and my hip was so bad out of place, and knee I couldn't get back on for a long time. I finally got back on, and time we got down the trail, time we got to the house, I was about as red as that. I had about a 3rd-degree sunburn, but I couldn't hardly walk there and that was just from having a little old tree limb sticking through my. And I was riding a good horse. It wasn't the horse's fault. I was riding a dang good horse.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
He got around that cow just.
you know, things. I mean, they're gonna happen like that. They're gonna fall on you. They're gonna, you know, it. What's the old saying? I think you told me this. It ain't when it's gonna happen, or if it's gonna happen. It's how bad.
How bad it is when it does happen.
That's right. How bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just, you know, I mean, and them old waddies that come up before you, your daddy. I mean, when they wasn't no fences over there. I mean, you could go a while, Henry, before they come up on something they couldn't get over or under or through.
Yeah. Well, old Roo Roberts was telling me one time about being tied onto the saddle horn, and his horse fell with him, and he was riding a river over there by Roswell by that L.E. Ranch. And he was just a young man, and he was a big man. He's bigger than you are. He was just a horse of a man. And his horse fell, and he got his foot through the rope. It jerked up right at his knee, and this horse went down through that creek there. And he went down there, and something blocked him. I don't know too much brush or something, to where the horse kind of had to make a turn. And he seen that big old tree coming at him, and he said there was another tree just before you got to that tree that was parallel to it. And he said he come by that tree, and he says he just grabbed that tree as hard as he could with both arms. And he says where that rope went around that tree, it broke. The rope broke. He says if that rope hadn't have broke, that horse would have killed me right there. And he says that was my first lesson on being tied onto the saddle horn.
Yeah.
So I've heard several pretty good stories. And then down there on that L.E., that's where I roped an antelope one time. We gathered that Adobe Flats pasture.
Next, don't you tell about the wolf?
Oh, the wolves?
Now, I want to hear about this antelope. I ain't heard this story, but I want Dusty to.
Well,
I want to get this wolf. The two different things. How you horseback a wolf, and then about the. Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to tell the trouble, but.
Well, I don't know. I used to.
With the game and fish, but go about this antelope.
I'll tell about that because I'll tell about that.
Well, let's go on about this antelope. I ain't heard this.